up YouTube? Back here with another video today. In today's video we're going to be working on the Lightning again. If you guys didn't see my last video, make sure you go check it out. But I went over some wide open throttle tuning that we've been doing in the GT500 swapped Ford Lightning, and we maxed out our injectors. So I told you guys in that video that I would show you how to data log your injector duty cycle so you can see exactly where you're at with your injectors as well, and know exactly how much room you have left, if you're maxing them out, if you're on the limits, etc. So we're going to get into that in today's video. So yeah, like I said in our last video, we maxed out the injectors doing some tuning, our first wide open throttle pulls, and we maxed out the injector duty cycle on our Siemens Deca 60-pound injectors, which is kind of a good thing because that means we're making good power. Siemens Deca 60s normally max out around 700 at the base fuel pressure that most people run. You can bump up the base fuel pressure and kind of get more out of them, but really didn't want to do that and go that route because then you're asking more from your fuel pumps. You just swap one problem for possibly another. Didn't want to do that. So we went ahead and ordered some injectors from Jeff Wallace. He is the man. Hooked us up with these injectors. These are the Injector Dynamics ID1050Xs. These should be plenty for what we're doing. These are way more than enough injector, and they came with adapters to just straight adapt right to our harness style, and you just clip them and plug them right in. Plug and play. These are really nice looking too, like the purple anodized. But yeah, so 1050Xs should be plenty for what we're doing. I did not want to jump up to the 1300Xs because it was quite the price jump. These were like 900 bucks and the 1300s were 1900 bucks, something like that. So literally double the price, and I don't need 1300s. If you're doing 85, you may want to take that jump. I know a couple people with 1050Xs. A couple of them didn't have problems. A couple of them maxed them out. So it seems to be hit or miss depending on your power level. So that's a whole topic for a whole nother video. This is what I chose to go with. I'm sticking with 93 pump with some race gas. I don't need the flow rate for E85, so these will be way more than enough. So yeah, anyways, so I got my injectors. I'm gonna go ahead and install them on the truck. I'm not gonna do a video about that because it's literally just popping the fuel rails up, pulling the old injectors out, popping new ones in, putting it back down. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this apart, install the injectors, and then we will get into how to data log your injector duty cycle and go do some pulls. So I got one side knocked out. You can see the purple down there, kinda. I don't know how much the camera's picking that up, but one side's knocked out. I'm now working on this side. And I just had a quick question I want you guys to answer in the comments below. Am I the only one, before pulling the fuel rails, that like stuffs paper towels and rags and stuff under there to catch all the fuel? Or do you guys just pull the rails and let the fuel get on things and evaporate and dry? Let me know in the comments below. I think maybe this is just me being too OCD about things. I like to stuff rags all underneath the fuel rail. That way when you pull it up, let some of the fuel kind of, you know, soak into the rags and pull the rags out. That way it just doesn't make such a mess. But anyways, random thought. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. I'll come back to you. All right, so I got the injectors all installed, but I did run into a small issue. I want to go over this with you guys so you guys are aware of this problem as well, and so it doesn't happen to you. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick. So as you can see, I got this tore apart to a whole nother level right now, and that's because I wanted to go ahead and address my wiper seal. I wanted to seal this area underneath the wipers. I'll go over that, you know, after the pulls or in another video. But what I did want to get with you guys about is I decided I got the injectors all done. I was ready to go do a pull, but it was running a little weird, just a slight misfire. I could just feel something was off. So like, you know what, maybe I should do the plugs. It's been a while. I've done quite a bit of tuning, a lot of math curve adjustments, and then restarting and adjustments and restarting. It's been very lean, very rich, etc. through the tuning process. So I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and replace the plugs. Well, while doing so, I ran into an issue that I wanted to go over with you guys, so you guys are aware of this as well. Something I ran into. I did the one side, everything was good. On this side, my Weapon X coil, I don't know if you guys know how Weapon X coils work. This is a Weapon X coil. These are really good for high horsepower, high boost builds. It's the only other coil besides OEM Motorcraft that I would recommend. But these coils have a little brass piece inside them. You can see that there, kind of, I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not. there's a little brass thing in there that basically, when you insert the plug into there, let me do it off camera, it's hard to do on camera. You insert the plug in there, and that's what retains the plug. It clips really tight in there. You can hear it snap, and your plug is seated. Now, when I went to pull these plugs and coils on this side, I noticed my coil was really loose on the plug. It was not tight at all. I pushed down, it would not click down. Said, what the heck's going on? Well, I pull it out. My retention piece is not there at all. So this was not clipping onto the plug. It's just gone for some reason. I know you guys can't see that, but there's nothing in there. So this was never seated correctly on the plug. So if you have Weapon X coils, take a look inside and just make sure your brass pieces are there that retain the plug. Test it out on a couple plugs. On some of the old plugs, maybe clip it in, clip it out, do it a couple times, make sure it seats firmly, because that's obviously pretty important. And I obviously ran into that. It's really weird. That's just my luck though. I'm not sure if it was ever there or where it went. I looked, basically when I pulled the coil out and noticed that the plug was still in there, so I looked in there where the plug is. It's not in there. No idea where it went. Probably was never there, honestly. Probably just pushed it down, thought it was good, and it obviously wasn't. So make sure when you're installing these Weapon X coils, you push it down firmly. You should hear it pop into place. If you don't, it's not installed correctly. But anyways, guys. Okay, so I got Livelink open. We're going to show you how to do the injector duty cycle PID for data logging real quick. I will do a more detailed video on everything I data log, how to create your config file, all that stuff later. This video is assuming that you already know the basics of data logging and you've done it before. You have your config here. 3 things you're going to want to monitor and add to your config is fuel pulse width and clock ticks bank 1, injector pulse width, and time between pip edges and clock ticks. So those are 3 things you're going to need to data log. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the top up here, right there. You can see right there, and it says add new user defined PID. You'll click that and it'll bring up this screen here. I'll click it. It'll bring up that right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into the one I already created and show you what to do with it. So it'll bring that up. These are just the names. Name it injector duty cycle, whatever you want. And then there'll be a little checkbox that says Livelink calculated by formula. Click that. And this is going to be the formula for injector duty cycle. Basically what you'll do is you'll click add, and then you have to go through all the different things you can data log, and you'll do the fuel pulse width and clock ticks 1 that I told you to add. You'll put that first, do divided by parentheses 8 times the time pip edge parentheses. That is the formula for injector duty cycle. Like I said, you'll click add up here, you find each thing. That's the fuel pulse width and clock ticks 1 divided by parentheses 8 times time pip edge parentheses, and that's it. You do that there, you'll have your custom PID. Make sure you're logging it, go to configure, and it should be right there. Mine is called injector duty cycle. Now what that's going to do, it's going to show it in a decimal, so it'll be 0.75, and that's 75% duty cycle, 0.50, 50%, and so on. So now when I'm data logging injector duty cycle right there, you're going to have the other stuff that I told you to add in, but this custom PID is going to have the formula. It's going to do all the calculations for you and show you your percentage in a decimal. So like I said, 0.69, 69% duty cycle, and so on. You generally want to keep it below 85% or so. That's when your injectors start just going static and just spraying wide open. You lose a lot of fueling control, so you don't really want to see over 85%. So 0.85 and below is good at wide open throttle. And yeah, so now we're going to go ahead and go do some cruising and some pulls, and then we will review my data log and I'll show you what our injector duty cycle ended up being. And like I did say, I'm going to do a better video and a more in-depth video on the basics of data logging, how to start as if you knew nothing. I'll actually record the screen with screen recording software and zoom in so it'll be more clear and you'll be able to see it a little better. This is just a quick overview. For those of you that know what you're doing, this should get you through how to do it. If you don't know, just stay tuned. I will be doing a full in-depth video about data logging. I'll record the screen so it's nice and clear. I'll zoom in on things so you can see it, and we'll go over how everything I data log, how I got it on there, and how to do it, all that stuff, how to read it, etc. So stay on the lookout for that video, but let's go take a cruise. Nothing, just videoing the video. This thing feels fucking good, don't it?
Oh my god.
It's actually a little rich. Ducky. Come on, birds, move.
Going again?
We're gonna do it on my back. Anything weird? Sounded good?
Sounded fun. Sounded loud.
Okay, so you guys saw the pulls. As you can see, it ran pretty good, nice and smooth. I'm back home and I'm at my computer now. I have the data log pulled up right here, you can see. And I'll show you what the injector duty cycle looked like. It's right there. You see injector duty cycle. Hopefully the camera's picking this up. But you can see that our max was 0.61, which means 61%. And you can kind of watch it right here as I go up this curve. And as the load hits, you can see the injector duty cycle climb. It's 50s, 60s, I shift. It goes back down to 40s, 50s. Up almost to 60. So you can see my max right there is 61%. So we're way good with the new injectors. But I just wanted to show you the injector duty cycle, what it looks like when you log it. You can see it's a decimal like I said before. And you can see that as I get into load, it kind of climbs. Right there it's 49%, 57%, and so on. And it's a good way to monitor where you're at with your injectors. So yeah, guys. That's how to do that, and the injectors and truck is running really good. I'm going to adjust my MAF curve a little bit just to kind of clean up the fueling, but we have definitely made quite a bit of progress. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is how to monitor your injectors. Super important to know where you're at with your injectors. You don't want to max them out. You don't want to run them at too high of a duty cycle. Like I said, about 85% is general rule of thumb before they go static and just start spraying wide open. You lose a lot of control of fueling. You just don't want to do that. So this is how to monitor that. Keep an eye on your injector duty cycle. A data log video is coming soon on a more detailed, for those of you that have no idea how to do this. I'm going to run you through it from beginning to end. How to data log, what to data log, all that stuff. Very important skill to know. Very important thing to do to your truck. Make sure everything's healthy and running good. So you can see we got ours running pretty good. Did a couple pulls, did a couple more pulls off camera. It's running really good. Timing is on point. Air to fuel ratio is getting there. And you got a little bit of cleaning up to do. Couple spots in the MAF where it kind of riches out a little bit, which is better than lean, so that's good. But I am going to clean it, tidy it up a little bit so it's perfect. And yeah, then we're going to get into some more content. But That's gonna be it for today's video. So make sure you drop a like, comment down below, let me know what you think. If this video helped you out, if you already knew this maybe, whatever you gotta say it down below. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Later.